In the last video, we have seen how to create this dropdown. But now the issue is the dropdown is available with no data. So now how to call an API using the ezAppz platform? That is what we are going to learn. Or I'll make it very simple. How to call an API using our Excel. That's what we are going to learn today. Okay. So for that, I need to go to my email, Google Drive. I'll search for form. See, always you should get download from the master copy, not from the local copy. See, if you download from local copy, see, I can make a copy of this also and I'll do that one. But what will happen if there are some previous change made by some of your colleague, then it could impact your work and you should be you'll get stuck up in doing testing, lot of testing. Okay. To avoid that one, always take from master copy so that you are not binded up with the others' work. Okay, fine. So let me take a copy of this one. And of course, you need to make a copy. Select the drive in which you want to put. So it is going to be an all allocation, my drive. Under that project, under that, we are going to create a new folder. Employee. Okay. Or you can create your own name. So that would be better. Name. Okay. Create. Under the name, select. Now make changes. So what the change is going to be is employee add JSFNS. Of course, this is employee add, and of course, this is for add load API. Okay. So what is the purpose? So I'm trying to define the purpose of the file. That's what I'm doing. So the file name should know what is the purpose. I mean, once you see the file, you should be able to judge the purpose of the particular file. So employee add load API, and for the load API JS function. What is JS function? It's a JavaScript function. Okay. That's what we are going to do with the Excel. It is going to be very new experience because from Excel you are going to create an JavaScript file. Okay, make a copy. Once this is done, you can close down this one and it will be opening. Okay. So what is the file name we are going to give? Again, same. You try to use the initial with that. So what is the initial? LM. Okay. LM employee add load API JSFNS.php. Okay. So it gives all information. So it's basically an employee add. Okay. And you can give full employee also. If you find that is required, you can give up to you. Okay. Employee add load API JSFNS.php. Okay. So this is done. And here you need not worry about the form template and of course, form template is important. I am saying about need not worry about the form title, tab title, heading, include file. Nothing is required. Only one thing you need to focus is form type should be file. I already explained there are going to be two type of forms. One is that is general form. So whatever your employee add is a general form. Okay. 5 is a JavaScript file. Okay. So now as we are going to create the JavaScript file, so we need to put form type file. That's it. Okay, done. So here only the file name is important. This is done. Now you have to put Control J to move your cursor to the specific object JSFNS. Okay. So we are moving to JavaScript. Now enable the JavaScript. Okay. So single quotes, true, done. Now what is a function name you are going to? Now you are going to give the function because you are the writer. So you are going to give the function name. What is the function name? Okay, let us define the function name. So it is basically going to be employee add JSFNS. Okay, employee add JSFNS. Right. That is a function name and the function type by default 1. Okay, there are few other things are there that you need not worry now. So by default it is 1. And what is the main tag name? Okay. So what is main tag and server path? All these two things we need to define. Okay, let me first define the server path. So what is the server path that you should be already aware of? So it should be 65.2.19.186. Okay. Then API, what is your API path stored? Because you are working under the stored, you should put stored. Then what is the initial LM, right? So LM and ati.php. So let all things be in a lowercase only. That is always advisable. Try to avoid uppercase in the URL. That will help you in long term. Okay. So 65 to 19186/API/stored/LM. Okay. Then ati.php. Okay. So that's the server. Now come to main tag. I want to know what is the main tag. So main tag it should reflect the report, whichever you already created, right? So go back to the report and see what is the main tag. So I have to go to the main project under that LM. LM. So now edit under, see, generally we create reports only in the first table. That I make it very, any number of report you want to create, you can create in the first table only. So it avoids a lot of confusion in the future. Come down, go to the report part. So list of department. So what is the purpose I am coming? See, during the ad, we are running a JavaScript. The purpose behind the JavaScript is to fill the dropdown. So what is the API required is list of department. Okay. We need to take the list of department, which is going to be the DDL. Okay. So that we need to identify and it should be used for that purpose only. So, okay. So what I'll do, so I'll click on edit. Then I'll select the main tag as LM DEPT list. That is the main tag we have given. Okay. So that main tag to be used in the Excel. Okay. Here the main tag name should be provided as per the report which we need to use. Okay, done. So what are the two things? Main tag name is changed, server is changed, and the call function flag. This is very important. This should be something relevant to the subject. So it should be something like employee DDL list. Okay. So basically what we are doing, or even you can make it as department DDL list. But I won't recommend that as a department DDL list. So tomorrow you want to add one more DDL also. The same JavaScript function can be used. So make it as employee DDL list. So let it be 10 DDL also, drop down also. For all the 10 drop down, you are going to use one JavaScript function. That is the advantage of this particular Excel. Okay. So let it be employee DDL list. Remaining things, no changes. And even the call universal procedure should be also the same as call function flag. So I'll change this also. Okay. So EMP DDL list. Okay. Fine. So both the things are done. So what are the changes we did? Function name we changed, main tag name changed, server changed, and the call function flag is changed, and as well as call universal procedure name is also changed. Okay. These are the changes we have to make from the, in the Excel. Okay. Then come down. What are the parameters to be changed? Okay. So now you have used the main flag, main tag name. Okay. So let me check the. So this is actually the drop down. In the drop down, in the API. So I'm specifically about the API. Correct. This is nothing but an API. In the API, what are the parameters used? Okay. So there are few parameters like upper limit, lower limit, filter string. So now that I'm going to explain you what is the purpose of upper limit and lower limit. Let me check that. I'll explain that. So I'll go to the API testing, or I'll copy this one. Let it be open like that so that I'll refresh and check that one, the future. Now I'm going to put API testing.h. Okay. Now, of course, you know the main tag name. So main tag name is okay. This is the main tag name, right? So I'm going to put in the function in the API testing and upper limit. Upper limit is 0. That is what we tested in the last video. Okay. Then of course the initial to be changed LM. Okay. And now we will we will be executing the call API. Right. Once call API is called, you will get the data. So there are 3 things are available. So computer science, maths, and science is available. Okay, now I have a doubt. What is the purpose of we are coming to this particular upper limit and the lower limit? Okay, let us assume there are some 3,000, 4,000 departments are there. Okay, now we have for a testing phase we have only 3. Let us assume there are some more than 2,000, 3,000 departments are there. Then there could be some scenario where we need to first 500. or first 100 or first 10. Like a Google.com. If you Google anything, it will list the first page. In the first page, you will have some 10 or 15 search items. In the second page, you will have another 15. So similarly, what I'm going to do, upper limit 0 and I'm going to put lower limit. Lower limit colon 1. Okay, now see what happens. So I gave comma because you have one more JSON element. So I given comma after 0 and the lower limit 1. Okay. Let me call the API. Sorry, there is a small change, 0 and 1. Okay, lower limit and upper limit. Okay. So now you are getting only one department, that is computer science. So what really happens is it listed only the first record of the collection. So the remaining are kept hidden because you have given only one level of count. So in case I give 2, that means 2 records will be listed out. Okay, 2 departments has been listed out. See, if you have more than 1,000, if I give 500 here, what will happen? First 500 will be listed out. That's it. So the upper limit, lower limit are the parameters to control the page-wise display of the content of a specific API. That's it. Okay, understand? So that's the purpose of the upper limit and the lower limit. Fine. Now we will go to the form. So now we will see in detail about the upper limit, lower limit, the definitions here. Okay. So the first thing is parameter name, second is parameter value. So parameter name is generally used in the SQL. Okay. Okay. So, but here the fourth column you could see used in SQL is not ticked. That means we are not directly using this upper limit, lower limit in the SQL. Okay, to that extent you have it in mind. But we will be seeing this in more detail in the upcoming things. Okay, right. Okay. So the next part is data collection. So data collection means it is related to the data collection. So it has to accept. And fourth, the next column is tag name. Yes, obviously it is a tag name. And tag, detail of the tag name and the name of the tag, that is also specified in the next column. Let me show this in the little. Okay. So if you just put the cursor and scroll, you could see the same name defined here in the parameter name. So tag name and parameter name are same. And there is something called a default value. Default value is the 7th column. Okay. So what is mean by default column means if you give 0 here, that means the upper limit by default it is 0 and the lower limit by default is 0. So so you need not specify the upper limit or lower limit in the API. That is what is mean. The default value means by default without specifying the upper limit, lower limit, it will function. Let us see that one, how it does. So I want to remove, see, let me put 0. What happens? If I put upper limit 0 and lower limit 0, then I'll call the API. Okay, what happened? All the data are coming. See, when I specify upper limit 0 and lower limit 0, that means if you specified upper limit and lower limit 0, 0, that means by default, it will show all the records. Okay, irrespective of the limit. Okay. Now, let me delete the Even if I'm not specifying the upper limit, lower limit, then also this is coming. Why? Because the reason behind is the default value 0 is there. That's the purpose. Okay. So by default, the upper limit is 0 and the lower limit is 0. So if you want to list out all the data, then you need not specify the upper limit and lower limit. That's the purpose behind the whole the subject what we are discussing. Okay. So if it had been blank, when no parameter is required as of now, that means it will show all the. If you want to specifically list only two records or one record or any number of records based on the collection list, then you need to use upper limit and lower limit. Okay. So that is the parameter purpose of the parameter specified here. Okay. And there is something called filter string. Filter string is a general variable. And of course, it is not a default value. So there is no default given in the filter string. Okay. So that we will see whenever required. I need not want to confuse that as of now, but it also has some value in the report that we will see whenever required. Okay. So that's about the thing. Now, how to use this in the Excel to generate the PHP form. That we will continue. Okay. So I'm going. So here, of course, we need to specify a parameter, though the parameter is not required. Okay. In the Excel, as per the Excel is concerned, we need to specify a parameter where the upper limit alone I'll be specifying. Okay. So this is what I mean shown here in the row number 176. And see, there are two things. One is tag name, the other one is object name. What is tag name? So tag name is something which I have shown here, upper limit. The tag name is upper limit. Okay. And what is the object name? Object name is also upper limit. So that we should be able to, tag name is upper limit and object name is also upper limit. Okay, both the things are upper limit. So what I need to do, so tag name is upper limit, object name is upper limit, and object type is hidden. Okay. So what is meant by hidden? Hidden is something which is not, not visible, but available. It is a object that is available, okay, but not visible. That we call it as an hidden. Upper limit is a variable declared and which is not visible. Okay, that's about the hidden. So we will see the hidden in more detail in the upcoming videos. There are different type of object types like text box, drop down, and the hidden is also kind of object. Okay, so we are specifying hidden. That's it. So which need not be displayed, but we want to use it. That's the purpose of the hidden. Okay. So now you need to specify 0. By default, it is 0. And what about lower limit? Lower limit is not required because even if you specify the upper limit, that is well defined. It is going to display all the rows. If at all you want to require to list only a specific number of rows, then you have to specify lower limit. So how to do that one? That you need to select the, copy this row, paste in the duplicate. Okay, then you need to change this to lower limit. So object name is also lower element and hidden and 0. Now, but you want to display a particular number of rows. For example, I want to list the first 10 alone. Then you need to specify like this. But in this case, we doesn't need to show. We need to, being a drop down, we want to show all the list. Okay, so that we need not want to hide anything. So in that case, you can just remove that, let it be 0 only. Okay, so that's all. Fine. So that is about the parameter. Now let us come down. Okay. Now I'll come to assign object. So assign object is what we are going to do is it is going to assign certain values to the object. Okay. That's the purpose of the assign object. Okay. So initially we need to make it is true. Okay. So I made it true, and the table name from which I am going to take the data. So what is the table name? Where the table name exists. All this information we need to get. Okay. So go back to the API. Now it is always, now we have to consider the API. Okay. So in the API, what is the table name? Table name is DEPT list. Okay. This is a table name. So this table name has to be specified there because this data alone is getting distributed in the JavaScript. Okay. So the table name is DEPT list. So I'll take this to the table name, put it DEPT list. Okay. Then form object. So I have selected the table name. What is the form object? So I need to specify the form object. So which is required to be filled. Okay, with the data. Okay, what is the form object? Okay, what is the purpose we have come here is to fill a drop down. Correct. That's the purpose we came. So for this particular JavaScript. So I need to specify the name of the drop down. Okay, what is the name of the drop down? How to see that one? We'll again go to the form. So here is the form. Now I'm going to check the name of this particular drop down. So what I'm going to do, I'll go inspect. So name of the object is ID equal to DDL DEPT underscore ID. This is the name of the object. So who has defined this one? Only you have defined this one because we have defined a drop down called DEPT underscore ID in the Excel. If you want to, we can refer to that one again because that was in the first Excel with which we have created, correct? So I'll go back to here. So if the employee head is here, so we are going to open that one. Okay, so I need to see the drop down. Control J, drop down. Yes. So you have given already DEPT underscore ID. This is what getting reflected here as DDL DEPT ID. Okay. So DDL is a prefix added by the application. That's a platform. Okay. So no worries. So what is the name of the object is DDL DEPT ID. So that what I want to show you. So we'll go back to the our JavaScript file. So what is the name? DDL DEPT underscore ID. Okay. Then what is a form object type? Here it is. So the form objects are date, text, checkbox, DDL, add DDL, hidden label parameter. Okay. These are the form object type. Yeah. Whatever previously we seen is the prefix of the form object. So the prefix you could see. Okay, these are the prefix. Okay. So I'm using DDL DEPT underscore ID. Okay. And whereas form object type that we need to define is I need to add a DDL. Okay. So the content of the drop down has to be updated. That's a purpose. So what I need to do is add a DDL. That's a object type I need to define. So this one. You can just copy and paste it. Okay. And the postman object type. See, postman object type is what is the content we are getting from the postman? Okay, let me check that. So what is mean by postman? Postman is nothing but you are testing API test. So this is your API test in which there are two things. One is department ID, one is department name. Generally, we define the drop-down name as the ID. So for example, DEPT underscore ID. So what we are going to do is the postman object name is DEPT underscore ID. So what is the data type of DEPT underscore ID is nothing but integer, right? Department ID is integer. Okay. And whether comma is required? No, because only one object we are defining. So no comma is required. Okay. And DDL text column name only for add DDL form object. Okay. Because now we are using add DDL as a form object type. So what we need to do? We need to specify the column name. So text column name. So there are two things. One is text column name and DDL value column name. Two things. So text column name, let me check the API. So department name is the text column name and department ID is the value column name because it has value, whereas the column name has the text. So that is how we define. So DEPT name is the column name. Okay, so we'll go back to this one to the Excel and we will say DEPT underscore name and DEPT underscore ID. Okay, two things. So if two things are done, then your whole subject is covered. So what we are trying to do is we are trying to take the data from the DEPT list. What is DEPT list? It is a table we got from an API. Okay. And where do we define the API? The API is defined in the upper line. So we have specified the main tag name and the server path. Okay. So based on the server, the data is executed and data is retrieved. And we got the table name. And the table name is DEPT list. Now out of this table, I need to select the data and put it into the drop down. Okay, that's what I'm doing. So for that, you need to add DDL. That is the condition we need to do. So I'm just adding the DDL. Okay. I mean, appending the data into the DDL. Either the way, you can put it like that. Okay. Okay, done. So then what is a postman object? Postman object is nothing, the postman based on the postman object name. So what is the postman object name is department ID. So generally the form name, I mean the object name should be ID, only it should be ID for a drop down. Okay, whenever it is a drop down, we have to make it very clear. Whenever it is a drop down, we should only create the, consider the ID, not the text part of a drop down. So what is the value or ID of the particular drop down? It is the DEPT department ID. So department ID only I'm using it here. That's the purpose behind the whole process. Okay, fine. Then department name and department ID are need to be specified because these two values are shown in the drop down. Once you complete, you will understand what is the total process done. Okay, now done. You check once whether the JSON part is fulfilled. Yes. So the JSON part is also fulfilled. So no, nothing to worry about. So what we'll do, we will generate the AU column, copy the AU column and generate a file and should be executed. So your JavaScript is completed. So let me show the JavaScript how it is generated once we create the PHP. Okay, fine. So I'll go to the AU column. Select AU. Put it at a text file. I'll be putting under the folder. Okay. So into my project. LM. So under this LM, I'll be creating a new text file. So what is the text file? LM employee add this fns.ph. Sorry, 2024 0725 1422. Okay, done. So the file is created. Now we will paste the content in it. I'll open this in a Notepad++. So Control V, the JSON is copied, closed. I'll open the FileZilla. Okay, everything is kept ready. You just refresh. So you got the text file. I'll move the text file to the SI folder. Now it has to be converted to PHP. Let me check. So the PHP file is generated. Now we will copy this back to the our folder. Delete the text file, not required. Rename the PHP as per the required. Now cross verify the Excel. What is the name you have specified? Here the name specified is this one. Copy this name better because we will not get confused with the name. Okay, go back to the your folder, rename it accordingly. Okay, that's it. So the PHP is ready. Now we have to copy this PHP into the our stud folder. So go back to the FileZilla again, refresh, and you whatever the name rename you did, that is been updated here. Or you can do the rename here only. No, nothing specified. Okay, nothing special. You can do from FileZilla only. Then we go back to the stud folder. Okay, I'll copy these to the this particular stud folder. Okay, file transfer. All right. Now, what is our next step? So let me explore this file. Let me show this file, what really it is there. Okay, I want to show you that one. See, let me edit this in Notepad++. So this is the actual JavaScript file wrote by the system itself. Okay. So this is the, actually the API is getting called here. So upper limit is 0, that is been defined. I mean, need not understand the whole JavaScript. This is actually JavaScript. No, not worry about that one. Okay, so this is calling the API, and this API is called, and the data is transferred, and it is appended to the DDL department ID here, and you get the data. That's how it works. Okay, fine. So that is about, so the total JavaScript is ready. So by understanding the Excel and making few changes in the Excel, you are able to write a very big JavaScript file. That's the purpose behind the platform. Okay. Now go back to the Excel. Now I'll go back to the FileZilla. I have some work with FileZilla. Let me explain you. So now I need to know about the employee add. Okay. Employee add table is there. Now what I need to do is, and for the employee add, there is one include file is also there. Okay. For the employee add. Let me drag them. I'll go with the name file. So the employee add and employed include file both are available. So I'm going to see the employed include file. Okay. I'll just download this one. So I have it in my local folder under the LM. So let me edit the include file. Okay. So the include file, what I need to do is I need to include the new file created. That is very much important. Without that, the function doesn't help us. So what I'm going to do, include. Okay. So I need to add the file here. What is the file here? Let me see. So this load API JS function to be added. So I'll just copy the name and put it in the include file. Okay. So what will happen is whatever the JavaScript wrote in the particular file will be added into the main file. That's the purpose of the include. So I'm just keeping the file physically outside, but logically inside. That's a purpose behind the whole process. So hope you understand. We are keeping the file physically outside, but logically inside. That's a concept behind the include, right? So once it is getting executed, the content of the JavaScript file, whatever we recently wrote, will be part of this particular include file. So that executing that would be becoming easy process. That's what we are doing. Okay, fine. Now we go back to the Excel again. We have still worked with the employee add. So employee add, we need to work on that. Okay. Now in the employee add, Control J, I'll put Control J. There is something called a load. Onload function. Add parameter onload function. What this really happens. So here, whatever the function name specified here will be executed once the form is open. You understand? See, onload means while loading, see which one is loading? The employee add. The employee add is a form. While the form getting loaded, this particular Java function will automatically executed and data will be filled in the dropdown. That's the purpose behind the onload. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I need to fill the function name, call the function name here. Where do I get the function name? Okay, if you want to know the function name, of course, you need to keep, we will just check from this particular Excel. So what is the function name? I'll go back to the JavaScript, Control J, JS, FNS. That is the JavaScript. Under that, so the function name is employee add JS function, right? This is the function name. This I'm going to specify here. And of course, a function name should should end with a open bracket and close bracket. That is very mandatory. So any function name should ends with open bracket and close bracket. Sometimes in between some parameters also required, that we will see whenever required. Okay. As of now, it is not required. That's it. So once this is done, so all the process is completed. Now we need to generate this file again to get the updated PHP version. Okay. So what I'll do, I'll go back to the AU column, copy, go back to your employee folder, right click, text document. So the text file is ready. We need to move to the FileZilla and we have to generate. Okay. So go back to FileZilla. you can delete your file. I mean, whatever the file generated so far, you can delete that one. If not required. You cannot delete all files because some other will be also posting files like you. So you delete only your files. So lm employee add.php, sorry, not this one. The text file, I'll post this text file here. Okay, that text file has come here. So the PHP generated, you can copy back this PHP to your local folder, delete the existing files, what are not required. You can delete all the old files which is not required. Okay. Yes. So delete the, only keep the required informations. So the employee add is ready, the include file is ready, and the JavaScript file is ready. All the files, required files are ready. Now I need to copy to the stored folder. Okay. I'll copy all this and send to the, I mean, you need to upload. Okay. So it has whether to overwrite. Yes. Okay. Okay. No. Okay. Right. So the file has been copied to the stored folder. Now we will test it out, whether it works or not. Okay. So you need to refresh. Now we will check the department when the drop down. Okay. The drop down comes with the data. But how do this works? You copy the Excel into the server and some JavaScript file is created and everything is working now. But what is the total process happening? That we will try to understand in the current video. Okay. For that, I need to go to the source. Okay. Once you open the source, there is something called the file name. LM employee add is there. So you could see that one. Okay. If you are not able to see the source, you can just refresh it so that the file will be generated. The file will be accessible here. Okay. Now we will find the function name which we have just created now. The function name is based on the Excel. We'll go back to the Excel and find the function name. Okay. So the function name is employee add JS function. Just copy this one. I'll go back to the Google Chrome, Control F. So in the find, I'll type the file name. Okay. So the file name is finded here. The function name is identified here. So I'll put the breakpoint. So what is breakpoint is? So the breakpoint is something where we can scrutinize the JavaScript and see how it works. And any debugging has to be done also. There are multiple things which helps us here. This will also help you to understand the JavaScript. So there are two ways of learning. One is you know about JavaScript, write your own code. Now the other way, the system has generated the code. Now you try to explore it. This would be much more easy and you can go in advanced level. And the code, whatever written will be on high level so that understanding will be easy for you with proper comments also will be there. Okay, fine. So let us go with that. And if you come down, the next step would be here. See, so it calls a function called empddlist UA function, which is again found here. Okay. So whenever an API is called, okay, whenever an API is called, the API would be called to another function. That is what here. And try to see that the path is proper. So you can check all those things. Whether the path is proper, of course. HTTP 65.2.19.186 API stored. All these things are coming properly. Okay. Now we will go back to, go to the next level where I'll be putting a breakpoint here. Let me explain this. Then see, it is not necessary that you should understand this, but you will appreciate once I complete this one. Okay, this many things has been automatically completed. So this much things you can learn whenever you have time. That is the advantage of the system. Okay. So this is done. And I'll put cursor breakpoint here. Okay. So let me, I have given 3 breakpoint. So I'll explain what is breakpoint also. Okay. So what happened, this particular function, the function name employee add JS function will be executed once the form is loaded, correct? That means these breakpoints will be highlighted so that we can check whether the things are going on right. So let me refresh this form. Okay, now the cursor comes to the line number 1425. Okay, and there are few things like you can have these buttons. So either F10. So F10 will move to the next level, and this is F11 step-by-step process, and shift F11 will switch on to the next level, and finally F9. Okay, we will be mostly using the F10 and F11 only. Okay, let me put F10. So I am going one after the other. Now, okay. So all these things are going on. So I need to shift to the next breakpoint. So if I want to go to the next breakpoint, I need to put F8, or I can click this blue color arrow. So you could see this one. Where my cursor, I kept my cursor. Arrow mark. Okay. So when I click on this one, so the cursor comes to the next level of the API, 1475. Okay. So I'll put F10. So what happens in the JSON string? So whatever the API result, whatever you have seen in the API test, the same result is shown here. You could compare with that. You can easily compare with that. So the same data is getting displayed here, correct? So the API is called and the data is available. Okay. And this data is converted into JSON object, and that will be tested in a loop. Let me check. Let me show you again. So the next breakpoint would be this one, where the for loop will start and the appending of DDL happens. Okay. So let us see what happens. So now I'm going to put F10 continuously. Okay. So the first object is added. The next object is getting added. Now the third object is getting a third row. Okay. Third row is getting added. And that's it. The loop completed and end process, and your purpose of the function is completed. Okay, now the department is visible. Okay, so this is how the drop down is added. So what we did is we wrote an API, correct? So from the beginning we'll go. Okay. See, we wrote an API. In the API, I have added MySQL command. Okay, MySQL command is added, and this based on the MySQL command, the data is pulled from the database and displayed as an API. So this part is done. Okay. The next part is I went to employee add table, and underneath I added a drop down. Correct. So that is the next part. That is in the one chapter it is been displayed. Okay. So that is been explained in the chapter, the previous chapter, how to create the drop-down. Now in the current chapter, we are seeing how to create the JavaScript. Okay. And that JavaScript is used to generate the values for the drop-down. That's it. So we are filling all these details automatically. The data has been filled in the drop-down. So that's about the total process getting a drop-down value into the system. See, only thing you should know where and what has to be filled in. Just copy it all, fully copy paste work. It is only a few copy paste work has to be done. And once you complete this one, automatically the system will generate the API. And based on that, JavaScript is also wrote. And you have included the, see, the next part is you have included the JavaScript in the include file. Okay. So in the include file, you added the JavaScript PHP file. Okay. So what is the purpose of including this one? If you include this one, automatically the content of this particular PHP is included. That means the file is physically outside, but logically inside. That's the base of the include. Okay. So once this is included and the PHP is also enabled with the load function. Okay. So what is load function? Control J, load function. So on load, we are calling the function name, that is employee add JS FNS dot, FNS open bracket, close bracket. Okay. So if this is done, that particular function is called and your data is pulled into the drop down. That's how the whole process is happening. So in the last 3 chapters, we have seen how to work out with drop down and how to making an API for drop down. And finally, how to integrate the API with the form. All these things we have seen. Okay. You can try out this one. Nothing special. Only thing you have to have, remember few points which has to be noted down from this particular this videos, that if you implement, you can usually develop any number of drop downs you want to add. That is a very simple process. Okay. Thank you. Then we'll see in the next video.